GM, GM. There's really not much happening. There's fucking not much to talk about. I talked about Arweave a while back, saying it would be one of the coins I think could make a new high, uh, which I think I put here, did I? Or AR USDT. It might have been this one. Yeah, I don't know. I had a couple charts with drawings on them, but basically, I felt that Arweave could be one that would make a high because it was trending in that direction and could still be at it, could still be consolidating before then. But I just think the alts just are running out of steam. And I don't see any of these altcoins, like none of these bounces are bullish. These are just not, they're just not bullish bounces. Just from a price action perspective, they're corrective. Up, and next thing it goes down. And the momentum is weakening, right? It's trying up into the highs again, finding resistance where it's found it before. And oftentimes what these do is they fall off, and then if it holds, because people start to short, it's able to have enough of a squeeze to take out all the liquidity, but not to actually go higher. And then you end up going lower, finding your support, and building back up. And I think there has to be another sweep, another push for these coins to actually be able to, at least one more. I just don't think after the runs up, I don't think this isn't an accumulation to me. There aren't the signs of accumulation. This reaccumulation was really nice here because you had this phase at the end where volatility really died off, especially in the second part here. And so price moved up nice and steady, pushed over, dropped, support, right down into the lows, and was able to show a very common reaccumulation pattern for this market. This might not look like one you've seen in textbooks, but if you go through the chart, you'll see this. It's just basically 3 pushes and can't go lower, right? And then you don't guess about it here. Once it reclaims, bands go green, boom, reaccumulation. Right now, I see none of that. The volatility needs to decrease, right? If this thing falls off, goes to the lows, and to me, and I'm just using R as an example, it just needs to prove that it can't go lower than this, because there's still a bunch of room for it to go lower. This is the bottoming range it broke out of, so it hasn't retested that. It doesn't need to retest that. But for this support to be considered support, I would say it probably should be tested one more time. Or alternatively, if this is going to show strength near the highs, I'd want to see it consolidate there and break out properly, which would mean you're seeing more of a compression at the highs or a compression near the lows. The compressions at the highs, anything can happen, right? But in my experience in crypto, they fail super often because everyone's looking for them. Because basically what it is this. It's like, it's this rising, ascending triangle or whatever. Everyone's like, oh, it's going to break out. Boom, away it goes. Caspa did it. I know Caspa did it. But the fact I can remember Caspa doing it shows how often they don't actually work. More often than not, they fail. So how many times have you seen that where price just compresses into the highs and okay, boom, away it goes. That's far more common. Because again, it's a bull market, so everyone's looking for these. They're like, oh, AR, get long. And the reason why they fail is because people don't treat the pattern the way you're supposed to treat it. If there's a pattern like that, you're supposed to buy it when it breaks out with volume. You're not supposed to buy here, but people buy there. They're like, oh, I'm going to front run it. Look how bullish it looks. And then it just drifts down on them. And that's why they fail so often. And that's why you actually see them follow then the black path, right? Because people will see the bullish pattern forming. They will buy here, so it will then sell off. It'll go to the lows. They'll fucking panic, sell, get liquidated, short it, whatever. And then it'll actually start to build up and break out. It is still a bullish pattern. It is still supposed to be going here. Both directions are the same. The path gets interrupted because people try and pre-position. And it just goes down for one more sweep, one more push. And that's why so many of these, I just think they're all going to fail. It's not because the market's bearish, right? I don't think the market's necessarily bearish, although there's a very real chance the whole bull market's over. I'm not discounting that, but I also don't think that that's the highest probability. But I think you're burying your head in the sand if you're just one of these fucking retards that's parroting, don't worry, bull market's definitely not over. No, it might be. It might be. There needs to be policy change. There needs to be money printing. There needs to be whatever. Like the bull market does not exist because of 4-year cycles. It exists because people put money in because they believe the future is bright. They believe stuff can go up more. So there has to be things that catalyze that. The election's a big one. Trump wins the election, that's bullish as fuck for crypto. Biden wins it, not good. And I think a lot of people know that, and I think that's going to make people more hesitant. Everyone talks about, oh, the election, pump into the election. That's fucking bullshit. Certain stuff can pump, for sure. But this idea that we're going to pump into the elections because election years are always good and they want the markets to be good, people saying that, they're just parroting something they've heard on a podcast or on a fucking Twitter thread. There's no data to back that up. The year before the election, statistically, is the best for stock market, not the election year. So 2023 was really bullish, as was 2015, 2019, right? 2011. The years pre-election tend to be better. The election year is still green, but it's actually almost never as strong as the pre-election year. And the closer we get to this election, how do you think crypto is going to react the closer we get to the election? Think about it. If you think about it, what do you see? You see one candidate that's considered to be very good for crypto in Trump, and one candidate that's considered to be very bad for crypto in Biden. And, you can say, oh, Trump's definitely going to win, but don't be biased. The odds are 50-50. Give or take, the odds are 50-50. So the closer we get to a 50-50 coin toss, do you think people are going to take more risk or less? Less. Less. The real smart money is not going to want to be heavily exposed to crypto with the prospect of a Biden win. Don't make any mistake, a Biden win is 4 more years of red tape, shitty regulations. He literally came out the other day, 20 Democrats and a bunch of Republicans all agreed on the proposal to change this legislation around crypto custody, right? And he literally came out and said, I will veto this. So he's like, I am against this. Even though it was Democrats, it was bipartisan. Democrats and Republicans all agreed. Biden stays in, that keeps Senator Elizabeth Warren in an influential position, and it probably keeps Gensler in a job in the SEC, and it's all fucking bad. Trump wins, boom, away we go. Trump's already campaigning as pro-crypto. So you have like super polarized extremes. And I still just see this fucking wall of cope by people who want price to go up when there isn't a catalyst. And crypto's all about catalyst. Bitcoin ETF, catalyst. That's what led this whole thing. So the next catalyst is probably the election. It's either the election or an actual major policy shift. Sorry to break it to people, and I should probably save most of this for Weekly Outlook, to be honest, but cutting rates isn't a major policy shift. Cutting rates once is not. The actual major shift would be if we go back to zero interest rate. Then you're back to just insane easy money. But we're at 5.5. If the Fed cuts to 5 from 5.5 and holds it there, that's not major. The market will react short term, but it's not major. Reducing QT is not a major policy shift. Ending QT is. Because just like in 2021, when they ended QE, the printing, and they flipped to QT, that was what literally topped the market. And they told you they were going to do it, and people ignored them. Reducing QT is a good step. Talking about interest rate cuts is not a policy shift. It's not major. Crypto needs major catalysts, right? Like every single time anything happens, there is a major catalyst, bullish or bearish, always. I fucking. This isn't for trade of the day. Do you know what? I'm going to talk about this in Weekly Outlook. So, GM.